Yeah, bridging the gap. Naomi Banks, the goddess. Tune in. Hey, yo, Black, where we at? Elements. Got a problem? What's the issue? Ask Naomi for advice, she will bless you. Is it sex, love, or relationships? If your spirits are down, you can get a daily uplift. Just listen every word that she speaks. Second trends with hashtags.
All right. It's your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks, and welcome back to another episode of Ask Naomi, Bridging the Gap. This is where we're talking about love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more, while bridging the gap between them all and teaching the world about sex, language, attitude, and spiritual uplifting. Oh my God, it's been a while. It's been a while. We've been on break. Well, no, I've been sick. Seriously, sick. But tonight, we're going to have a little fun with this topic. We're talking about dating single parents. Dating single parents. And I entitled this, Dating Somebody's Baby Mama or Baby Daddy. You like that?
Baby mamas and daddy.
Yeah, baby mamas and daddy. So this is what we're going to do real quick. We're going to take a quick break for Sexy Is Cosmetics. We're going to come back and then we're going to start this off. I miss y'all. Y'all miss me? All right, Sexy Is Cosmetics. Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks. And Sexy Is Cosmetics is our official sponsor here at Ask Naomi, Bridging the Gap. So you guys make sure you go by sexyiscosmetics.com and let them know Naomi sent you. Get a great discount. They are naturally 100% organic, vegan. They sell everything from soap to scrubs to everything for you to keep you sexy always. Sexy Is Cosmetics. Use the code AskNaomi for a 10% discount. All right, that's Sexy Is Cosmetic. This is your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks, and welcome back to Ask Naomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. I am here with my boy, Dog Pound Mike. Mike, what's going on, baby?
What's happening?
It's been a minute.
Yep.
It's been a minute. I know before I said it's been 2 weeks. It's been about 3 weeks happening.
It's been 3 weeks.
Oh my God. So in that time span, I was sick for like 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. I went traveling. I had a nice little tour with New Edition. Just kidding. Me and my girlfriends, we were following New Edition as they were doing this nice little tour. So we had a good time, but I miss y'all. I miss you guys. I truly do. I see some of you in the comments right there. How you doing, baby? How you doing? Remember, if you guys missed the live show and you just want to hear us, you can always stream us on Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those streaming networks. We are on there. I usually upload on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So I figured this would be a really great topic to come back on. I know before, when we missed last week, I was going to come back and I was going to talk about my trip to Miami because it was something. But I figured, no, I'm not going to bore y'all with that. Not yet. I might come here and there and talk about my Miami trip. That's how I'm going to do my Miami trip because it started off crazy, but it ended off nice. I came home, I was sick, my throat was on fire. Before I knew it, I was sounding like Barry White. Literally, like Barry White. My voice was that deep, and then at one moment, I had no voice at all. So it was no way that I could come on here and I could talk to you sexy people to tell you anything that was happening. But tonight, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk about dating single parents. As I say, dating somebody else's baby mama, baby daddy. And I should know because I've been somebody's baby mama.
Wow.
I definitely been somebody's baby mama. But I was going back and forth with one of my boos earlier today. And I had posed a question, on Instagram. And I asked can you date a single parent? Most of the people said yes. And it was a few people that said no. And in return, she had said that, and before she had kids, she said that it was a no for her. She said, but as she had kids, she's married, she's in a relationship. She said now she has a change of heart with it. Now you guys gonna be like, for real, Naomi, you get ready to say this, but for me, it's a no for me. And how can you say that and you have children? Because for me, that's not for me, and we're gonna get into it down the line. We're gonna get into it down the line because I do have experience with being a single mother. I've been a single mother since I was 19 years old. So it's like all of my adult life, I have been a mother. So speaking, being a mother, I know when it comes to having that other so-called parent that comes with drama or baggage. I can say, and I can be very honest, I didn't have that much baggage, especially with my first child. I didn't have too much baggage with that. But I just knew that myself, that I wouldn't want to have to deal with that from another person. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? And I always say this, I am being, I don't want to say hypocritical. I don't want to say that, but it's just like, I just don't want to deal with the drama that comes with it, because some people are not mature enough to handle another woman or another man helping that other parent help them to co-parent. Can you understand that?
I feel you. Yeah. Because they may be in a situation like, why are you helping her? I mean, you got to help or helping him. You got to help the other parent because, especially if the child is living with the other parent, you got to help that other parent so they can help the child. And some people might deem that as, oh, you still want to be with them.
Yeah. Okay, so let me say this. All right, so for me, and I'm going to repeat it again, it's a no for me. But I do have tips, being that I have dated or played around with somebody, and I'm going to be honest, that had kids. Actually, in my first marriage, I didn't find out that he had a kid until later on. That's something altogether that'll be in the book. But something altogether. But for that one, the child came afterwards, and I remember telling my friends and family members that I would never date somebody that had children. And they say, "How can you say that when you have one yourself?" And I said, "But that's my option, in my opinion. For that, it's just I don't want to have that extra baggage with that, as well as they have the option in the right as well. Right. Too. Second, I know through my first marriage and going into my second relationship that I had children coming in. But I was very honest and upfront with that person, knowing that I have kids, I have children. So they opt to say, okay, we're good with it. But in that goal with us, in that agreement with us, we agreed to become co-parenting when we figured out we were going to be together, right. Forever, with that. But I do understand there are a lot of people that don't mind. It was quite a few people that said that as long as they're upfront about it. I guess my next question is to you, my listeners on here, is there a limit? Is there a limit to how many kids? So just say you got, like I got one of my girlfriends, she got about 5-6 kids. You know what I mean? So would you, want to date a woman with that many children? Or a man with that many children?
No.
I'm asking you too, Dog Pound Mike, man. You just solid as heck.
No, well, as soon as you said 4-5, I'm through. I ain't got no comment on that.
You through?
Yeah. I can do 2.
You could do 2?
I can do 2.
You could do 2. You could do 2.
Yeah. Anything over 2? Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Mm-mm. For me, not even 1. No, not even 1. And I know y'all say, Naomi, that's the hypocrite. It's not. Because let me tell you something. They go to comparing, and this is the baby mamas. They go to comparing themselves to that new woman. Not saying that I did, because I don't. For me, My ex-husband, my ex-baby dad, I want them to be with beautiful women. And I don't mean beautiful on the outside. I mean beautiful on the inside out. I truly need them to find a woman like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because that will help them be able to help me to co-parent. That's how I feel for me. But I know everybody is not mature enough to do that. You understand what I'm saying? But so that's why I said I don't want that drama. You understand what I'm saying? For you, you're dating Mike. Have you dated any women with? I mean, I know the answer, but of course, I need to ask that answer so our listeners can know. Have you? And what was your experience like dating women with children?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. And the experience was, like you said, it has to be a communication between you and the woman at the time that I was dating, and you have to find out what's the relationship with the ex and them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they co-parenting? Do we still like her? Do we still like him? What's the position of our relationship? All that has to get out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my early relationships, I dated someone that had 2 kids, and it was more like it was times where she would use me to make him jealous.
To make who jealous?
To make her ex jealous.
Oh.
And sometimes, so the games, those games can be played, and that's the thing. It's got to be an understanding in that relationship where you at with it and what's the dynamic of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, because when you think about it, if you're going in a relationship with someone who has kids,
mm-hmm.
Me as a man, then I know I have adopted those kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be more responsible of myself, what I do, what I say, and things like that, because I'm going into those are kids. So
right.
I respect her. I got to respect her kids. So the situation, it's a lot of discussion in that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of discussion.
All right, so we're gonna talk about this later on, because I do have topics for anybody that chooses to want to date someone that is a single parent. Some kind of tips on how to make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
For you, and I know this goes back and forth with a lot of people, is do you agree with being able to discipline someone else's children?
Now that's a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be willing to discipline? But the bigger question is, will that person let you discipline that child? I mean, that's something that has to be discussed as well, right on the top, because everybody discipline things are not the same.
Right.
I got raised getting a whoop, belt, Hot Wheel tracks, iron boards, So the thing is, I'm dating someone and she has kids, and they do something. I just can't pull my belt off and go if we ain't getting that understanding on how to discipline.
Exactly.
And I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that anyway.
Okay. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I do see someone out there, Mr. Durwaller says it really depends on the person. And if you are someone who doesn't mind taking on the role of being a parental role and don't have to deal with the drama with someone's ex. And that's true. That's just piggyback right off I said about being mature enough to understand that relationship and knowing that now you're no longer lovers. You are now co-parents, parenting soon to become adult in the near future. That we got to make sure that they are well and good. Exactly. All well and good. All right, so this we're going to do. We're going to take a real quick break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to talk some more about this. I have an Ask Naomi letter and all those other things, and we will come back. All right? This is your girl, the goddess Naomi Banks, here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast.
Next up. I want to play for so long. I need to unless you talking numbers, we ain't speaking about the right things. Switch up on my nigga for a figure, that's not like me. Baddie with a body in the lobby, she like nice things. She used to know me then, she like me now, that's funny timing. Eyes been on that prize, I cop that cribbo for that timepiece. Trying to see the globe and sell out shows.
All right, that was quick as hell. All right, that was that was my girl India Marrell right there with Dial House Radio. You make sure you tune into. She got a really nice hot podcast show, as well as on YouTube and streaming on other platforms. But her show usually come on Friday. That's Hot Sugar Tea, as well as she has a show on Sunday too, I believe. On Sunday too, so make sure you check it out. And let them know that Naomi sent you over there. Giving much love to them over there. All right, so what I want to do is I want to come back to... I had saw somebody put a comment up before, and they were asking more if it was somebody, if it was a child that was of an adult or that was no longer living in a household. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about is adult children versus young children.
Okay.
Versus that. And I got that question to me was, does it make a difference for you? Okay, so let me be very honest, because I am a child or a daughter to a widow. And I am all up in my mama's business. Not that I will compare the man to my father, but it was just for me, I don't know if I'm going to like the way that you do my mama. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to be in my mama business. So for me, dating someone with older children, I would have to truly give that a soft no. I'm going to give that a soft no. And that's depending on their relationship that they have with their parent. Are they the type of child like me that's all up in the business? Right. Or do they allow their parents, to do what they do and not be, Corey, I'm just being honest. That's all that I can do is be honest. I am not the right one. You cannot date my mother. And I will not date. And that sounds so crazy. When I look at myself like, yeah, you really say you have kids.
The thing that people who have adult children, I mean, that could be very tricky. I think I'm a no to that altogether, because if
you a no to what? I'm sorry, because I missed what you just said.
I'm a no dating a woman who has an adult child.
Oh no, you don't want to date nobody with no adult children?
I mean,
oh wow.
If I meet her and she has a child in their 20s, or the thing to me is like, I really would have to see that. I'll say soft no. I have to really see that dynamic of the relationship.
The dynamic.
Because me, as far as little kids, I can deal with that. I can try to help parent and co-parent and do my thing with them. But once they hit that age of like, okay, they're grown, they should be out the house and
right.
And maybe they ain't living like that. Maybe their mother is still babying them, or maybe that's it. That would, I don't know, that would be a little harder situation for me to work with. Than being,
Than with a younger child.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I mean, it is.
Look at the example you just put as far as someone dating your mom, because you are a grown ass woman. So you know life. You done seen some shit. So I don't think nobody can come in and I heard them lines before. I don't think you would give that person a chance to even try to impress.
Right. You know what, Spider Moose? You know what? I'm crazy. Yes, I am. As hell. And I know it. And I embrace the craziness. I really do. But I do understand other people's views. I do. And I want to know their views, because sometimes can they sway mine? Maybe it can. But it just, after all of these years, still as me I have 3 girls, and my 3 girls are 10 years apart. Seriously. And in that span of that, I still stay with my same notion of I will not date anyone that have children.
That is.
And I see some very good fathers out there that had some great relationships with, and I'm just like, I don't know. And my good girlfriend that I was talking about earlier today, she has some good, like, I will hate to miss out on a good thing by having that parent. But I'm like, maybe that's where my selfishness comes in on that one, because I don't want him to have to answer to nobody else for me.
That could be it, yeah. That could be it.
Y'all see my Ask Naomi mug right here? You see that right there? Yes, that's Naomi's mug. Actually, y'all could go pick one up. hmm But yeah, for real, for real. So I want to scroll down, some of the comments here that I was just seeing right here. Yeah, I want to go down to some of the comments right now. So we're going to scroll on down here and get some of these comments because I see you guys going back and forth and it's pretty good. So Mark, as a man having no kids at the time from my own, it didn't bother me, but I never saw myself as a father for that kid, more as an uncle. Really, okay, so let me say with that one, I remember back in the day, some of my friends that, parents were single parents. So my mother and my father have been married until my father passed away. But I had friends that had, single mothers that was living with their mother. And their mother boyfriends that they were dating, they would call them uncle. No lie, that was very disturbing to me because when I hear someone say uncle, and I'm just being very honest, that means that's your mother brother or your father's brother. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say this, I'm not being judge at all. Judging, but that's what they did. But that was something that they did back in the day, though. You know what I'm saying? And really, I want to understand why is that? Because somebody explained to me, especially Mark. Was that Mark who said that? Was that Mark that said? Yeah. Mark, explain to me why were you more of Uncle Mark instead of maybe Mr. Mark? Maybe Mr. Mark? Or, Mr. Mark. Because you wouldn't be stepdaddy because you haven't married her. You understand what I'm saying? So would it be Mr. Mark?
Good question.
I truly want to know, and I'm not being, I've always wanted to know that. Yeah.
And I guess that is a big thing because it is all how you set yourself up in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be kind of established at the beginning of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go in and look as the uncle, the whole thing is if the kids bust in the room like, shit, mama, why you fucking my uncle?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna keep. Can you scroll down some more? That's good. All right, could you go up some? Because we saw some more up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. All right, Mr. Patrick McCullen. Mr. Patrick, it's not about a limit, to be honest. It's more about what the individual is comfortable with, and it also depends on the dynamic with the kids' dads. I agree with you on that one. I do. I agree with you on that one because I do have family members that had, more than several kids, and they are now married in a great relationship with someone. Again, I'm going to say that's everybody. That's, an individual thing. But I just wanted to open up this conversation, with this. You understand what I'm saying? And thank you, Mark, for coming back with asking me this. Why, Uncle? It was the kid that called me that, and I accepted this. I wanted to be a father. Okay, dude, can you get that?
Yeah, I can see that.
You can see that?
I can see that. I mean, but, I think Mark has stated before is that, he will give somebody a chance, kids are no kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, if you that person and you meet a good person and y'all building something, then you're going to work it out.
Right.
You're going to work it out.
Right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to Spider Moose because Spider Moose want my attention tonight. He really does. So Spider Moose, he said, yes, I am being judgmental in all militant Christian Naomi. Ooh, Spider Moose. You missed me, didn't you, Spider Moose? You missed me so much, baby. You did. You missed me so much. You did. I just wanted to give you that notion because you was coming. The thing is, the Spider Moose been trying to come for either you or I throughout the, for the past few, and I just gave you a little attention. So thank you, Mr. Spider Moose. Yes, yes, yes. Do something. Do something nice. And I think he got like a, oh my goodness, what is happening tonight? Mm-mm. All right, so Jeffrey said, if I was to date someone with kids, I would never want her kids to call me dad, just my name, because I'm not trying to replace their real dad. That's a good one. Yeah, I understand that one, Jeffrey, too. I do. I understand that. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Yeah. I understand that, because even within my first relationship marriage, that child never called me mama. She always called me by my name. And then sometimes she would say my second mom, in that instant. But it was never, mother, because you would never want to replace anybody as their father or as a mother, right. But you still want to be there as a supporting cast. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, with that relationship, right. Or even dealing, especially if you're dealing with that child or you're dealing in that relationship long term, right. If you're coming in there with the right intentions, for it.
I understand.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? All right. So I wanted to go to Naomi's top. I know I'm taking a whole lot of breaks. I know I'm taking a whole lot of breaks. We're going to break again, and then we're going to come back. Actually, yes, we're going to come back with a Naomi's top. I'm going to give you some nice little tops on how to be able to have a successful relationship with a single parent. And then we're going to do Ask Naomi letter. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. This is your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks, here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks. And Sexy Is Cosmetic is our official sponsor here at Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. So you guys make sure you go by sexyiscosmetic.com and let them know Naomi sent you. Get a great discount. They are naturally 100% organic, vegan. They sell everything from soap to scrubs to everything for you to keep you sexy always. Sexy Is Cosmetics. Use the code AskNaomi for a 10% discount. Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks, and welcome back to Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast with myself, Naomi Banks, and Dog Pound Mike. Mike, what's up?
You got it.
All right, so we get ready to do Naomi's top. Tonight's topic, we were talking about dating single parents. Mm-hmm. As what I call dating somebody else's baby mama, baby daddy. But I'm going to give you some top tips. And they're coming from me because I was a single mother and I was dating. And these are things that I kind of look for in who I would want to be around my kids. First of all, I would not have them meet, someone first off. It has to be a few months, before that we'll do that. All right, so here goes Naomi's tops for dating a single parent. Number one is to know the difference in dating a single woman, a single person, woman, or a single parent. Right. And what I want to say specifically for women, and I'm going to say this is because most of the time, majority of the time, it is the woman that has the priority custody of the child. Right. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So in that case, you have to understand is that it's a difference, especially when it comes to you having an emotional communication with that person. Mm-hmm. Because you would not be the first person that they would think about in that emotional connection. And I'm just being honest. So when you need someone, okay, let me be specific in this. So if you're needing someone to be there or understand, what you might say or how you might roll in your feelings or something like that, they might be a little, I don't want to say apprehensive, but a little bit like, it's not important to them. Do you agree with that
I
one?
understand what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, with that one. So know that that relationship is going to be totally different from someone that is single.
Okay.
Because you will be that first. You know, they will kind of think about it a little bit more of an emotional connection with you versus not saying that they won't have a emotional connection with you, but know that it's going to take a minute.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? It will take a minute. All right. So number 2 is accept that their children are first priority. So if you are dealing with a grown woman and a grown man that are very good parents to their children, know that you will not be first. Know that you will not be first, that their kids become the top priority. So whatever that you have, unless you got to know that you are coming in second. But I guess that's a given.
Right.
That's a given, but you do have some people that they try to be number one.
Everybody want to be the go.
Everybody want to be, yes, they try to be number one. All right, number 3, your schedule have to be flexible, as they might not be available at all times, which is true. It's things that happen. You know, maybe there's no babysitter. Maybe the other parent, cannot be around, or maybe the child is sick. You know, maybe they can't get up and go as you want to vacation. So things of that sort. So just be very flexible with your time and understanding with that. Number 4, which I believe should have been one, give your true intentions in the relationship. So she or he know that they are not wasting their time. So that means be honest and upfront on what your intentions in this relationship. So if someone comes to you and they say, hey, I have children. You understand what I'm saying? I have children. This is such and such and such. This is how I move. You know, for you, deal with it. What are your intentions for a relationship? And I guess for me, especially, I'm going to date with intentions. Meaning, I'm not dating just to, be kicking it. Right. And I guess, honestly, I never really dated to just kick it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I know there's a lot of people that does. You know what I mean?
Casual dating.
Yeah, casual dating. But if let me stop, because I'm sounding like a militant Christian that that's being judgmental. All right, number 5. Don't try to be all too soon to the parent nor the child. So, as some people come in a relationship, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest. I had this one guy that I dated that came in like, oh, you got kids, and wanted to buy everything for my kids, wanted to move the mountains and everything for me right off the bat. For me, no, don't do that. And why I say that is because there is no true intentions that's coming behind that. We don't know if we're going to last too long. That for me, that gives me, I'm just saying for me, a red flag. So remember, these tips that I'm giving you, these tips are coming from me personally on how I move. And it might could help some of y'all out there. But for me, if they coming all in the beginning like that up front, no, take your time, slow. Let's build something from there. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Let's build something from there. All right, number 6. And this is something that myself and Mike talked about earlier. All right, so when I say this, because here we go. Discipline is not your job or option unless it's agreed upon amongst the parents and you, and you're there for the long haul. All right. So as I was raised is that, like you were, it was a village that raised a kid. So my neighbor next door to my mother, my neighbor next door to my grandmother, they were like, yeah, you do something wrong, we have permission to whoop you, tell your parents or whatever like that. Sometimes it's not like that. Right. Sometimes it's not like that. So like you said before, we come to an agreement, especially if you're going to be there for the long haul, come to agreement on how we're going to do that, with that. But don't come in thinking that's what you're going to do or be militant on that. Right. All right. Number 7 is don't pass judgment on that parent. And what I mean by that is that because you parent, you will parent in a certain way. Don't think that person should parent as you, as you should. That's understand. And number 7, is being an emotional support for her or him, being a lending ear when needed. And for me, that has been a much needed time when you're dealing with kids. So that's my top, my Naomi's top for dating a single parent right there. All right, so we're going to break, come back real quick again. We're going to do Ask Naomi Letter. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to hit the comments, right? Mm-hmm. All right, this your girl, The Goddess Naomi Banks, here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap with Dog Pound Mike. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming right back. Hey, it's your girl, The Goddess Naomi Banks. And Sexy Is Cosmetic is our official sponsor here at Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. So you guys make sure you go by sexyiscosmetic.com and let them know Naomi sent you. Get a great discount. They are naturally 100% organic, vegan. They sell everything from soap to scrubs to everything for you to keep you sexy always. Sexy Is Cosmetics. Use the code AskNaomi for a 10% discount. It is Ask Naomi Letter time. Yeah. All right, so I actually had this letter a few weeks ago, and I wanted to share this with you guys right here. So we're going to call him Mr. S. So Mr. S says, hold on a second. Mr. S said, how can I let go of an ex who keeps coming and going from my life? I try to distance myself, but the gentleman in me refuses to be hateful because I believe that just gives them power. I'm kind enough to allow decent communication, but I can tell they always trying to get something from me, whether it's my body or my attention or money. Mr. S. All right, so what I told Mr. S is, first of all, I wanted to make sure that, but this is what I said, and I'm going to go straight from the dome. Not what I wrote him, but straight from the dome, kind of, what I was speaking on in there. If you do not share any children with this person, I believe that you should stop communication altogether. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. When I mean in that is that if this person is giving you this much grief, this much negative energy with you, and you know that they're not wanting you for who you are and just for what you can give them, then Mr. S, you don't need to be with that person. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not about being a gentleman. It's just being real with yourself and saying, you know what? I don't want this no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this anymore. Right. Period. And you say, is it that simple, Naomi? Yes, it can, because this is the time that you got to love yourself more. Then you love yourself. Love you more than you love yourself. And in that case, you don't want that energy, Mr. S. And then if you do share children with this ex, I say you need to sit down and talk to her and say it's nothing but about the children. This is where you and I, that's the only communication that we should have. And if it doesn't have to deal with the kids, then that's it. My advice to you, as I probably would give to any of my cousins or family, I say take them to court. If you don't have that courtship, so you guys can have, some kind of agreement to where, finances, so all of those things, so they can be your mediator, in that. Because as I'm reading that letter in between the lines, it's more of as it's a toxic situation. Right. That's what it seems like to me. And if you don't share any children with her, there or him, I don't know exactly what it, who it is, but just break yourself from that altogether. Love you more than you love yourself. Love you more than you love yourself. That's what I'm going to say. So I don't know if anybody else in the comments would say, if they do, they got something to say about it. I would definitely let you know and would say it. But, yeah. All right, so I said we was gonna hit the top. We was gonna hit the comments. So let me see what some of these comments says. Can you help me out, Dog Pound Mike?
Here we go. We're gonna go to Spider Moose here.
All right, Spider Moose, baby, you getting a lot of attention tonight. Are the kids actually kids or are they adults? Any woman putting adult kids before her new man is welcome to her kids in lack of a new man. Shade face. Okay, let me read that over again because I want to make sure that I am understanding this. Are the kids actually kids or are they adults? Okay. Any woman putting adult kids before her new man is welcome to her kids in lack of a new man. Okay, I understand it. Okay, I had to come and read it back. Okay. So you can, but hey, like I said, for me, that is why, for me, I wouldn't want to date. And I can understand that because as you said too, Mike, is that for you, you don't want to put yourself in that situation because you don't know what their situation. And not saying a lot of people do because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are so happy for their parents to have another relationship, in there. I'm just speaking from my point of view. So what you're saying, I agree with you, Spider Moose, on that one. It depends. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Spider Moose, he kind of,
Them breasts better behave themselves, so I'm out of here. And who crazy? Spider Moose, who crazy? I'm looking at your AV, you crazy. Who crazy? All right, we're going to go with Mark. All right, Mark. Mark said, in a relationship, I never wanted to mess up the upbringing of that child, and the mama would not let me. But she was 16 at the time. If the child was younger, it would be different, I think. The age difference made it so, I guess, now that the child is out of the house and having a relationship herself. Okay. So we went, all right, so what I'm getting that you said is that at the time that you were in a relationship with the young lady, with the woman, her child at that time was 16 years old. Right. So in that, you didn't want to intervene into that relationship, meaning as into, and get me right if I'm wrong, disciplining, or even, passing judgment on how she's raising her child. But usually when they're older like that, they kind of set in their ways. They kind of got their dynamic in their relationship with their mother. So, really, and we talked about the younger kids. We didn't even talk about the teenagers. Right. Because the teenager, that's a whole other dynamic when it comes to that, because that person, that has have a relationship with that parent, and it was just them. But now that it's somebody else new that's in there, yes, it will be some animosity in there and it'd be different. So even you going into something like that, Mark, I give you much props, with that one. That's some great props with that. Like crazy. Yeah. All right. So Lucky said, never date a woman with small kids. You will always be second. Yes. Yes, Lucky. Yes, you are. That's why I would date no men with children. Right. Because I want to be number one. I know that sounds so, that sounds like a hot air smash, don't it? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right. So, Yoshi Cook she says, I have dated and married others with kids, adults, and young. Never bother me, and whatever the kids feel comfortable. Okay, let me read that again. I have dated and married others with kids, adult and young. Never bother me, and whatever the kids feel comfortable. All right, so you have been married before, and you married others with kids that were adults. Is that what I'm getting? Yes. Is that what it sounds like to me? That's what it sounds like to you too?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. good that you had a good experience in that. And some people do. Some people do. They do. I just don't want to get in. I'm just.
And I guess that is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you go do it and you have a good experience, that's great. I'm not saying all experiences are bad,
Right.
but for not to enter that experience is going to be great altogether because you're not jeopardizing yourself or that other person into something that you're not 100% into yourself.
Right. That's true. And I just remember in my younger days, because remember, as I said, I had a child at 19 years old, and so me coming in and saying no, I don't want to be with someone with kids, and it was always say, well, how can you say that when you have children yourself? I can see it. I can see it both ways. For me, it's just, and I'm like, Yoshi, baby, I am so happy that you were able to be in a successful relation with you, and also Mark, that you were able to do that as well. And I mean, and honestly, I know a lot of people that have been in those relationships with, women with children, and even men, with children. I'm just being, I'm just being, but I like to hear that. I like to hear, I like to hear success stories from other people. I say you'll get, Yoshi Cooks, she said, not my preference. It was based on the circumstance, seeing that person, who they were and how they handled their family life. That's good. That does. That makes a lot of sense. Right. It does. It makes a lot of sense.
You gotta see that person first. You gotta know that person. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So Mark says, Naomi, your opinion is formed by experience you had. Maybe it do go wrong somehow, but it can be okay. Me, I did not have kids of my own at the time. And you're right, Mark. All I can do is speak on his experience. But like I said, I'm always gonna be honest. And it's not my opinions, it's just experience that I've had and that I choose not to go through again. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And not that, and I know it might sound like I'm being judgy, but it's not that. I would love to hear other people input on how their relationships was with dealing, because how can I say don't date nobody that have kids? Well, I myself was a single mother with children. I would never, because everybody deserves how to be loved. I'm just giving you what my intake on was, and I'm taking y'all too, like Yoshi, Mark. I think I saw quite a few people that said that they would. Now, so let me say this, because we did have a social connection, but we're not gonna go to that. But one social connection, and I had to ask him this, and I want this because this is very, very important on what he wrote down. And this is Mr. Alexander DeVoe. Because when I posed this question earlier today on social media, he actually said no. And I thought that was I wanted to know why. I know my whys, but I wanted to know, what other people whys were or no. I mean, we got a whole lot of yes, but this no. And I wanted to hear what Mr. Alexander DeVoe, the man that knows all this, says. And this is what he says. He says, there will have to be zero interaction with the kids so as not to confuse or expose them to another person. And there are way too many without kids to date, and one with kids. If it leads to step parenting situation, those typically are never harmonious unless the kid is an infant. A step parent would never be the same as a bio parent.
You're right. Sometimes they can be better.
You are so right. Sometimes they can be better. And I'm telling you, because I'm on the other end. And I got a great boo that loves my children. You know what I'm saying? But he came in with no kids, though.
But that goes back to what Yoshi said. It was about the situation. It seemed like that they met the person first, and he had such a good relationship going with that person that it led to, of course, if I'm gonna meet a person and I fall in love with her and we have a good connection, then we can move into the situation with me meeting her kids, and we build a relationship, and things most likely I say will fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the thing is, if you're gonna go in, you gotta go in with, like you said before, part of your tips. You gotta go in with patience and understanding, and just ready to do the work that it will take to make it a good situation. Right.
All right, so this is I like Mark. Thank you, baby. Mark said, I respect your opinion, but the other person, the father, was not a good person. At least that was what I heard from my wife, which is true. So that's just like you were saying. So that's kind of like piggyback on what you were saying in respect to what opposite of what DeVoe was saying, right, is that it might be a better situation for that relationship of dating that parent, that other person. You know, but again, Mark, you have no kids. So you understand what I'm saying? You know, and that's crazy. We could go on forever talking about this because it is. It's I don't want to say it's a hot topic, but it's something that needs to be discussed, especially when you get into a relationship with anybody, especially if they have small children, right, or a teenager or kids, you know, in general. Because like you said, is that when I love and I respect that person or that woman, who it is, I have to love and respect them too.
You know, and I think it goes into deeper. And I know when we come back around and you're going to touch this again, we probably have to break it down to the fact that I have known men who got a relationship with women and their kids, and it's been very successful, very positive. Yeah. But I want to know if you flip the script the other way, where if men who has custody of the kid and another woman comes in a relationship, then maybe I don't know what those dynamics are. All
right, so I was on that side of the coin. So that's what I said. It's like for me that I was in a relationship that he was a great father. He had custody of his daughter, both of his daughters. And that mother did not like the idea of that I was a part of his life. And this was pre-adult, you know, entertainment. And she didn't like that. And I myself had a kid as well, but she didn't like that dynamic because maybe we looked like a family, right, you know, so she made it kind of hard for him. You know, before she was, you know, acting accordingly. They had a great co-parenting thing. I didn't have anything to say because that wasn't my business to discipline or anything like that. We took the kids out, had fun, you know, did all kind of things together. But it put a wedge in on how their relationship was, not coming from him, but coming from her, because she was still in love with that man. You understand what I'm saying? So in that case, that kind of like, you know, hindered what was going on with us. You know what I mean? And so from that on, I was like, you know, no.
Too much baby mama drama.
Yeah. And I saw friends that was going on. I saw friends with being a baby mama, doing a drama, acting a fool. Like seriously, like I saw friends that was acting a fool. I don't want that girl to be around my baby. You know, that's like, what do you mean? So you mean to tell me that you trusted him to sleep with him, to have a baby by him, to do all this, but you don't trust him to have the judgment or having somebody around your kid? You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not with that person. Because you might not like the way that she looks. You know, so me looking at that and seeing them too was kind of like, okay.
I don't think she like the way you look. I think you look too good.
You know, and that could be true because like I said, when we was talking about on the cheating thing, the first thing I said when I turned on that light, I said, let me see what that bitch look like. I sure was. I was like, and you know, was because after that happened, and I think about it now, I'm like, why would you ask that? That's some superficial shit. That is some like, why would you think that? Like, seriously. All right, Mr. Michael Pennick said, unless they're near perfect kids and have reasonable parents, you be dealing with constant drama. So true, Michael. So true. Sometimes it be so much drama, the damn biological parent don't want to put up with the shit, with the stuff. All right, James says, I was fortunate that I never dealt with the baby daddies. That's good. That's so good.
That's good for you, James.
All right, so let me ask you this: have you had any horror stories by dating someone with a woman? Because I told you my look, and it wasn't really a horror story. It's just like, okay, I can go without. So now I understand why. I truly understand why I did not want to date anyone with kids. That kind of like put an explanation point on the end of my statement for me. Mm-hmm. Like for you, I mean, go tell you.
Well, my situation is it was my woman. She had a very strong relationship with her ex, and she dealt with things. She dealt with a lot of bullshit, but she really dealt with it. And I was there in her life, still there, and helped raise those kids. And me, I just looked at it. I was doing the best I could for my wife and for the kids. And that's the way I look for it. And she dealt with the situation of, the baby daddy the most. It was one time where I had to step in because she asked me to step in. And I just laid into him. I just laid into him for the things he didn't, things he didn't do, things he don't do, and the way he was. And that was our one big interaction together. After that, it was, he ain't too fond of me, but it was good for that time.
Right.
It was good for that time. So for the most part, I go into relate, and that my job was to make sure my wife is good and make sure the kids good. If I had to deal with the baby daddy, then that's something that's totally that I don't want to get into. But if it came to that point, I would. But my girl, she handled that shit damn self. So see, I be scared of him for her instead of me. Shit. Sometimes I had to pull her off and then don't kill him. Shit.
That's funny. Right, Charmaine said, you go, Mike. Show him how to step up. All right, guys. So let me say this. I am so happy to be back. I'm going to give you, all right. I was so nervous when I came back. You know why? Because I felt like I've been gone for so long. I know it's only been 3 weeks, but 3 weeks is a long damn time. It has been. It's been a long time. And we're going to keep going with this. We're going to keep going with this. Yes, we're going to keep going with this. So I'm going to close it out, and I'm going to say thank you to all of my listeners and my followers. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment as well up under the video, as well as go stream it on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all of those good things. I always usually post a replay of everything here. We're here on every Thursday night live here on YouTube, and we do a replay on Fridays by midnight. The stream is usually up. The podcast is usually up for that. Also, I want to thank my boys, the Elements, for they always come through for me. Always, and I love that. And also you, my listeners, thank you so much. Dog Pound Mike, thank you. Thank you. Sexy is Cosmetic. I have some other things that's coming up. You guys know I am what you call a serial entrepreneur. So I'm always doing some really, really good things to try to broaden my portfolio. So I have some good things that's coming up soon. I wanted to announce one today, but I got to make sure that the I's I dotted and the T's I crossed when it comes to this here with that. Right?
Yep.
All right, guys. As I always say, always keep it sexy. Don't forget to follow us as Ask Naomi on our Instagram and on Twitter. as well as follow me at The Real Naomi Banks. Follow me there as well if you're not following me. But again, spread the word. We are here at Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. This is where we are authentic. We're real honest. We have a good time. We talk about everything from spirituality, sex, love, relationship. There is no judgment zone here, even though it might sound like it's coming from me, but it ain't nothing. I promise you it's not nothing. I'm just trying to understand everybody as everybody try to understand each other. So, as I always say, always keep it sexy. Be good to yourselves and one another. Hey, it's your girl, the goddess Naomi Banks, and I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. And remember, if you have any love, sex, or relationship advice, or even any spiritual uplifting, you can always email me at info@asknaomi.com. But remember, if you loved or you liked that last show, subscribe, like, share, and comment. All right, well, you have a good night, a good morning, a good evening, whatever time it is. And I will see you next week. Bye now.